6th edition of Teach Time. So today we're going to be looking at how to work out the area of a triangle and the area of a parallelogram. So first things first, we're going to start with the triangle. So when you work out the area of a triangle, it's kind of like working out the area of a square, and then all you've got to do is divide it by 2, because a triangle is half a square. So we'll start here with an irregular triangle. So this one, the sides aren't a right angle, and only 2 of them are the same size. So here I need my trusty ruler. So first things first, I'm going to work out, this is called the base when we look at a triangle. So I'm going to work out how long that is, and so I go all the way along until I get to the point, and I see that my base is 6 centimetres. So I'm going to write that here next to base. You can abbreviate it, you can shorten it just to the letter B if that helps, as I've done it over here. Now I need to work out the height. Now the problem with this triangle is, because these 2 lines at the edge aren't straight, if I try and work out the height that way, it's not going to work. So I have to go from the point all the way down to the base of my triangle. Now if I line my ruler up, I can see that's 4 centimetres for the height. So now I've got my calculation up here. So what I've got to do is I've got to do the height, so 4 centimetres times by the base. So that's times by 6 centimetres. Okay? So 4 times 6. Pretty easy one here. We all know that 5 times 6 is 30. So all we've got to do is take away 6 from that. So I know that 4 times 6 is 24 centimetres squared, because it's the area. I've times those together, so it would be centimetres squared. But that would tell me the area if this was a square. But it's not a square, it's a triangle. So I have to divide it by 2. So down here I'm going to do 24 divided by 2. Well, that's a pretty easy one to work out. So I know that it's going to be 12, and then it's still centimetres squared because it's still an area. So it's 12 centimetres squared. So I know that this triangle has an area of 12 centimetres squared. Okay, let's have a look at a right angle triangle down here. Now, if you came to this in a SATS paper, or when you're doing papers at school later on, if you see a box down here in the bottom of your triangle, you know automatically that means it is a right angle triangle. You don't have to worry about measuring it or doing angles then. If it's got a box down here, not a little circle, if it's got a box, then it is definitely a right angle triangle. Okay, so this means that this time I can just use the side of my triangle for the height, and I can just use the bottom for the base. I don't have to try and work out heights by going in the middle of the triangle. So this one's a little bit easier that way. So I take my ruler, make sure it's on the centimetres, not the inches. I take my ruler and I lie it down, and I can see here that my height is 6 centimetres. So I'll put that one in first. And then I go down to the base, and I see this is 4 centimetres. So it's exactly the same as the calculation up here. In fact, it's exactly the same numbers, just because the 6 and the 4 are the other way round doesn't mean that the answer is going to be any different. Because 6 times 4 is the same as 4 times 6. It still makes 24. And then 24 divided by, not times, divided by 2 is still 12 centimetres squared. Remember your centimetres squared. So I know the area of this triangle is 12 centimetres squared. Now, the triangles, they look really different, but just because one of them's a right angle and one of them isn't, doesn't mean that they aren't going to have the same area. As we've just worked out, they are both still 12 centimetres squared. And if I turned them into squares, if I doubled the triangle and made them into a square, it would still be the same total area for a square, so they would still be 24 centimetres squared if I doubled the triangle. Okay, I have some questions here that I'm going to let you have a go at home, so I'll read them out for you and we'll talk through them a bit quickly, and then I'm going to let you pause the video and have a go at them at home, or if you want you can wait until later and you can have a go at them, but just skip past when I go through the answers, okay? So a triangle is 6 centimetres in height and 7 centimetres in base. What is its area? So the first thing we've got to look for is we have to look for all of the information it's just given us. So I'm going to use a highlighter to show this. So I'm looking for the height first. So it says here a triangle is 6 centimetres in height. So that means its height is 6 centimetres. So I'm going to highlight that there. And I'm going to use a different pen to make it a bit clearer to see the next one. This time I'm looking for the base. I want to see where it's telling me about the base. So a triangle is 6 centimetres in height and 7 centimetres in base. So I'll underline that one. So that's going to be my base. What is its area? So we're still doing the same calculation. We're still doing height times base, and then we work out the area because that'll give us the area of the square. Then we have to divide it by 2 to work out our triangle area. So I'm going to let you pause that video now quickly and have a go at this first one. Okay, super. I will go through the answer with that one with you in a second, but for now, let's have a look at the second question first. So, Molly needs to find out the area left on her patio. She needs 2 triangular slabs, so 2 triangles, that have the height of 17 centimetres and a base of 10 centimetres. So we can see here that she wants 2 triangle slabs. Now always draw with a ruler. I'm doing it quickly to show you, but always draw with one. So she wants 2 of them. Now we need to look for the information to tell us what size she wants them. So she needs 2 triangular slabs that have a height of 17 centimetres. So I'll put a height of 17 on both of them. And a base of 10 centimetres. So we know the base is going to be 10 centimetres. I'll just quickly go over that so you can see a bit clearly. So just like before, the base 10 centimetres and the height of 17 centimetres. What is the total area for both slabs? So she wants us to work out the area for each of these slabs and then add them together. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and let you have a go. Remember, use this formula up above to help you work out the areas. Okay, let's have a look at these questions then. So we'll start with the first one up here. So we've got a height of 6 centimetres and a base of 7 centimetres. So we're going to times the height by the base. Okay. So I'm terrible with my 6 times tables. I always have to know the ones that are before it. So I know that 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm going to add another 6 to that one, which I know is 42. You're all probably a lot better at times tables than me. So I know 42 centimetres squared is the size of the square. So now I need to remember to divide it by 2. So 42 divided by 2 equals 21. Remember your centimetres squared. So we know that that is the area of the triangle. So now let's have a look at this one. So Molly needs to find out the area left on her patio. She needs 2 triangular slabs that have a height of 17 centimetres and a base of 10 centimetres. what is the total area for both slabs? So we've already drawn our triangles here, but now we need to work out the area. So I know that the height is 17 centimetres, so that goes first. And then I know that the base is 10 centimetres, so that goes next. And we're times them together. 17 times 10, we should all know how to times something by 10, we just move it along one place, makes 170 centimetres squared. Now some of you may have gone on to divide it by 2 and then do it again and divide it by 2 and then just add those two numbers together. But here's the trick. Because there's 2 of them here, I could just stick them together. So the area, I wouldn't have to divide it by 2 because I've got 2 here. So instead of just needing the area for 1, I can just stick with that. So if you've got 170 centimetres squared as your total answer, that is absolutely correct. If you did go on and do all the dividing part, maybe next time, if you've got 2 of them, just stop there, because that's all you need. Just need to work out the area for the 2 of them. Right, so that's triangles out the way. I will put some questions for triangles on the Facebook page for you to have a look at, but for now we're going to move on to parallelograms. So, now I'm terrible at spelling as well. So I can never speak while trying to write parallelograms. It takes me ages to try and work it out. So, parallelograms. This is exactly like we did with the triangles. We're still doing height times the base equals the area, but that's where we stop. We don't divide it by 2 because a parallelogram, even though we've got 2 diagonal sides and they don't all match up slightly, we've still got 2 that are exactly the same length. So here I've got 6, and then I've still got along the side, see if I can make it line up, I've still got 4.5 down there and 4.5 there. So all we're going to do now is we're just going to work out the height. So you still have to, like we did with that first triangle, because these are diagonal lines, we have to draw a line down the middle to this bottom corner, because if you see, these sides were 4.5. If I do a straight line down from the top to the bottom, it's 4 centimetres. So I know that my height is 4 centimetres. Now for the base, we don't have to go anywhere in the middle, we can just do the bottom base of the shape. So that is 6 centimetres. So we're going to do the height of 4 centimetres times the base of 6 centimetres, which we did this earlier, so we know it's 24 centimetres squared. And that's where we stop. But I'll show you why. So with a parallelogram, it's exactly like a rectangle or a square. All it is the shape's kind of been slanted. It's almost like someone's pushed it to the edge. So if we took this line and we cut off this part of our parallelogram and stuck it to the other side, you can see here, it just makes a rectangle. The same would go if you had a square. If all of them were the same length when you stuck them together, they would make a perfect, a regular shape. So let's have a go at this one and work it out. So I'm going to measure my base first. So that's 7 centimetres for my base. And then I'm going to have a go at measuring my height. And so that's 5 centimetres. Right, I'm going to pause the video here. Well, you're going to pause it. And I'd like you to have a go at working out, using this formula, remember, height times base equals the area. I want you to have a go at working out the area of this parallelogram. Okay, so let's have a go at this together. So my height is 5 centimetres and I'm going to times it by 7 centimetres. So 5 times 7, we all know, is 35. Need to remember our centimetre squared, and that's it. So the area, I always like writing this whenever I do a test paper or any kind of question. I always like having it clearly at the bottom, the answer. So I do area is 35 centimetres squared. It's alright to keep up there if you want, but sometimes when people are really quickly looking at your work, they might not notice that this is your final answer. They might still think that's part of your working out. So here, if I write it down here, area equals 35 centimetres squared, I know clearly that that is my final answer. Okay, I'm going to put some questions about this on Facebook for you to have a go at, and then if you finish it, you can then get your mum to take a picture of the work and put it up on the page, or dad, or whoever's at home. And then there will be a virtual sticker for anyone who manages to complete the work. Have lots of fun today, guys. Don't spend more than 10 to 15 minutes on this. Have a nice time out in the sunshine if it's still here. Have a good day.